And we're on. There we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the next installment of Tasting with Brian. Where'd he go? Brian? Brian? Brian's right here with us. He's been through some plastic surgery, and
He's actually just finishing up some things in the lab, so
is that what he's doing?
he said to get started.
Seriously? Really? What's he gonna bring?
I'm not sure.
No?
He was just finalizing some things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe we'll get a chance to try them, and then we'll pour them into the camera, and everything will be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Well, you guys remember Dan?
Hi, everybody. I'm back.
He's back.
Back.
Yeah. You can see he's been sleeping funny.
I've literally been working all day
Yes.
and ran home. I didn't run home. I drove home, had a quick shower, and they've been teasing me ever since I got back.
Well, you know what kind of day it's been. And yes, he was out there
Yeah.
on the tractor.
Yeah.
Was it bogging down at all?
No, it wasn't too bad in the section I was in. But yes, back on the horse.
Mhm.
Both Brian and I have been, for the last couple of weeks, have been working on transitioning the vineyards. So it's a long haul. It's going to take a couple of years for that to really take true effect. But
Transitioning. What's transitioning?
transitioning, well, we're working machinery through the soils, and that's helping us have to dealing with weeds. It's opening up the soil, giving some air into the soil, some oxygen, and just letting things work a lot better. There's a lot of contact.
We were just talking about tractor work today.
Oh,
Yeah.
We were missing in the cellar. So.
tractor work.
Yeah,
It's almost impossible. Please make the rain stop. This is like 2011.
Yeah.
I kept on getting messages from people saying, "Oh, doesn't all this rain make you feel good? Farmers love the rain."
Oh.
And I think I recall sending a reply tweet saying, if the next person that says, "Don't you just love all this rain?" says this to me, I'm going to drown them in the nearest puddle.
Muddy puddle.
Muddy puddle.
Muddy
Yes.
puddle, yeah.
that's
No,
like
it's too wet.
this past winter. Someone saying, "Is it cold enough for you?" And people are days. So
Yes. Yeah, so no, we don't want any more rain.
No.
We haven't been able to get tractors in the vineyard, well, hardly at all this week for maybe an hour and a half in the vineyard. So no, it's a big problem. Too much rain.
So yeah, I
Make it
touched
stop.
on transitioning
Cool.
vineyards.
Yes. Oh, it was. I was speaking to was we're wanting to transition our vines from being dependent on herbicide for the use of killing the weeds under the vines to a mechanical weed removal, and so it takes a couple of years to get the vines used to the machine and the soil as well, because the soil that we've had is very compact, very dense. So it takes a couple of years for us to get the machine underneath the vine and get that soil worked up and loosened. So it's going to take a little while, but eventually we'll get to the point where we're herbicide free, which is a huge plus. We're really thrilled about that. What else do you guys talk about? Sorry I'm late. I had to get some wines from the cellars. Interesting wines that we're going to talk about a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get this party started.
He has us some treats as well.
Yes, absolutely.
We're very secretive.
Really?
Oh,
No. So he's just carrying on in that vein, is it?
Dan and I have been kegging a bunch of wines. If you're not familiar with our keg project yet, we've been putting wine in 19.5 liter kegs, similar to what you would find beer in, where you source the stainless steel kegs, put your wine in it, and then in the same way that you deliver beer through a tap, you deliver wine through a tap. And this is referred to as wine on tap. And we've been doing this for about a year and a bit, maybe a little bit more than a year and a half. And it's been very, very successful. So the next time you're in a restaurant, ask them if they have wine on tap. If they don't, then tell them that you want it and you need to get it from Vineland Estates. We've actually started up a company that's doing this and doing it contract for other wineries as well. And so we're doing that today. We kegged up about 100 or so kegs, under 175 kegs. And so currently we have our Cabernet Franc, we have our Chardonnay, we have our Riesling, and we have our Pinot Grigio. Are all available on keg. We've got some other wineries that are joining us as well. Henry Pelham should be on deck soon. We've got Mike Weir Wines, Stony Ridge, we've got Creekside, and then a handful of other wineries are considering joining us on Wine on Tap as well. So next time you're at a restaurant, ask for Wine on Tap.
One of the biggest benefits is you're always going to get a fresh glass of wine. That's the beautiful part, from the beginning right to the end.
Yeah, you're not drinking from a bottle that's been sitting on the bar for 2 or 3 days.
So yeah, fresh glass of wine. So the other benefit is, and this is actually equally or possibly more important, when we get our glass from other parts of the world. We get it from France, we get some glass from China, wherever it comes. The glass is made. It's empty, obviously. It's put into a container, shipped across the ocean, burning fossil fuels to get it there. It lands in Canada. They pick it up, load it onto a truck or a train. That's then shipped to another destination where it's picked up, loaded onto a truck, delivered to Vineland Estates. We then put it through our bottling line. We fill it with wine, load it back in a truck, take it to our warehouse, and from our warehouse, we then load it into our truck, deliver it to you, or back to you come to the winery and pick it up. So what this does is cuts out all of those steps, and we go directly from our vineyard to our stainless steel tank, from our stainless steel tank to a smaller stainless steel tank, directly to the customer. So we've skipped all of those steps. We're not burning fossil fuels. We're not using all of this glass. We're only really about 10% of our glass actually recycled, goes into landfills. And so you're doing the environment a favor by getting wine on tap. Ask for it. We're not allowed to do it in homes yet. That's actually against the law. However, the moment that is allowed, I'll let you know. I think there's going to be a whole lot of people screaming for wine on tap at home.
That's right.
And better yet, my wife won't know how much wine I drink at night.
You can't count the bottles.
Can't count the bottles at the end of the week.
No. We'll start counting the K.
Yes, the kid.
Brian.
That would be even worse, I guess. Yeah, so wine on tap. Watch for it. Ask your favorite restaurant if they have it. If they don't, ask them why not. And get on that right away. So,
That's for glass.
enjoy. Nicely done. We have Andre on the comm again. How you doing, Andre?
That's great.
He's loving it. So the wines that were delivered to you, we have had an overwhelmingly positive response. I've had so many messages on Facebook and Twitter, and a couple of emails actually from people saying how much they've enjoyed the wines that were delivered this month. So the two wines that came were I believe it's the third in the series of the Expressions in D. You have one more to come that'll be coming next month.
The last one.
Which is not the concerto, it's
Soprano.
So again, we have alto, falsetto, alto, soprano, falsetto, and concerto. So moving from west to east, we have gravel, sand, and loam. So gravel is alto, soprano is sand, and falsetto is loam. And again, the art was commissioned by Melissa Proudluck, and our graphics department did a beautiful job. She's actually doing some other wonderful paintings. When you come to Vineland Estates, you'll be able to see some really cool things she's done. Sorry? Oh, some really cool things she's done with the lees, grape lees. So when wine ferments, the lees that settle to the bottom, she collects those, and she's painting with lees. I'm happy to say I have the very first painting that she did of an area in the back vineyard. And that's really kind of cool too.
Brian snagged that right away before anyone even saw it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was funny. We'd be racking a tank, something like that. She'd come down. We'd let her know what we were doing that day and what varietal. So she's looking for different colors and stuff like that. She'd get all excited about the different varietal. Well, can you save some of the leaves from that for me, please? So she had all these Tupperware containers. She'd
Yeah, so stop by the winery and see some of the work that she's been doing. It's on sale here in the winery. She's got a couple of that. Well, if it's not bolted down, it's for sale on the wine shop. Here, cool. Dave's gonna go grab it. This is the work of Melissa Proudluck. Can you see that? Here, put it closer. This has been painted with lees, grape lees, not leaves, but lees. The sediment to the bottom of the tank.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. He's very talented.
So, falsetto, loam. Again, all of the wines were picked on the exact same day, fermented in the exact same size tank with the exact same yeast, and treated in exactly the same way, bottled on the same day. The only difference would be the natural sugar that was found in the grapes, the composition of sugar when it was harvested. So there were small variances in the amount of sugar in the grapes. Obviously, the acidity, the pH, and the TA are all going to vary to a small degree. But the way they were handled and the way they were treated was exactly the same. And so we have 3 distinct wines. This is the third of the series, as we said. This is Falsetto Loam. Take it away, Dave. What do you think?
Oh, this one here, this is the one that is the most tropical. It has the mango, even a pineapple kind of characteristic in there. It's interesting, Brian. I just did this tasting up and hello to all of our friends up on Saugeen Shores. I was with you last week, just about this time. And what was really interesting was people love the alto, they love the falsetto. The soprano. Yeah, the sandy one, which is coming next month for you guys. But everyone could see the difference, and it absolutely the shock on their face to know that the only difference between basically the 3 wines was about 14 inches of topsoil. That's it.
And about 100 yards or so.
Yeah, and aspect change.
This is terroir in motion.
Mm.
And so understanding that you can have the dramatic differences that you have, although there are some similarities and there's some Vineland characteristics in these wines, this really demonstrates the importance of terroir and where the grapes are grown. And if you care to look a little deeper into where grapes are grown, there's always a wonderful story to be told. Again, the most important thing is, and we've said it time and time again, is you either like it or you don't. If you care to dig a little deeper, there's always a story behind the wines, and that's where you can begin to pull back the veil a little bit, and it really gets interesting. So this is a really good example of distinct terroirs within sort of the sub-appellation, obviously, but within the vineyard as well. So it tells a story for sure. So, next one. Bring it on, Dave. Sure. The next one that we have is our 2010 Cabernet Franc Reserve. This has been a perennial favorite of mine. Obviously, Cab Franc is a staple in our house and is a staple here at Vineland Estates. And the Cab Franc Reserve, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this with this one we have here, has been aged in oak barrels for about 16 months or so. That's kind of the standard time in which most of our wines will remain in barrel. And this was a blend from multiple barrels, and we speak about new or seasoned barrels oftentimes as winemakers, and we always wonder how much new oak went into a wine, and that's a big question that everybody has. Well, I can safely say in 2010, this is the first year that we embarked on a new mission about removing new oak from our wines. New oak is not part of the composition of our wines. Wine is a barrel is a vessel to hold wine to allow the micro-oxygenation of the tannins. You have these layering of the tannins that you go from short chain tannins to long chain tannins, and they go from green and bitter to well, not necessarily, that's not a good example, but sort of tart, if you will, or a little bit gritty.
Yeah, aggressive.
Aggressive, yeah.
Pretty.
And they layer on top of each other, ultimately becoming a little bit more velvety and supple. And so that happens in a barrel, no matter what, whether it's new or seasoned or old or otherwise. That it's an exchange of oxygen, and that's the primary purpose of a barrel, not for introducing ancillary aromas that are not necessarily found in the vineyard, which is the most important reason why we're doing this. We want to showcase the vineyard. We don't want to showcase the skill of the cooper that made the barrel. And so everything we do in the vineyard is about enhancing that natural expression of the vine and natural expression of the place. And so this was the very first year that I can safely say we had no new oak in our wines. In 2009's did. So take it away, Dan. What do you think?
This is a true Ontario wine in that sense of what you're talking about. Brian had mentioned to me at one point in speaking about oak that I came from BC, and I was always talking about oak this, oak that, and I kind of had the bug. And he taught me that showcasing the wine is repeating what he just said. But he mentioned at one point, well, we're trying to tell the story about Canada and Ontario, and why would we introduce on a huge effective level? Why would we introduce a different terroir, like France? Choose to grown in France. We're introducing a whole other terroir into that wine and giving it a whole level, character level difference. So, yeah, I believe in this wine 100%. This is Ontario wine. You see how proud it is.
Well, and the other thing too is that if you go too far, which many have done with the terroir of the barrel, then the wine could be from anywhere, right? Because it expresses the terroir climate. So it could be from Australia, California, Ontario, South Africa. We can make wines that taste the same, right? What's the point of that? The Vineland wines and the Vineland wines are I'm very proud of because they taste like they are from somewhere, and that somewhere is here, not anywhere, and that has been demonstrated in many ways.
Yeah, you know what the last thing you want to do is mask the fruit.
Right.
Which
Like Dan with his mellifluous voice has to either get closer or speak up.
the worst thing you can do is mask the fruit with oak.
There you go.
Mask the fruit.
Absolutely. So
So,
here's a little cellar surprise. Oh, hey, got a. Remember, anybody wants to send us messages, we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I just got a message from Mark Glover, our good friend and traveling companion. We just got back from Germany a couple of weeks ago. That was a whole lot of fun. So Mark says he opened the Cab Franc last weekend. Oh, yes. Bree's pregnant, and so I think they're not allowed to drink wine anymore. But he says that he opened the Cab Franc last weekend when Bree wasn't looking.
yeah. Bree's not drinking, but, you know.
Yeah, nicely done,
Mark's
Mark.
just drinking in secret now.
Another reason for a keg system at home.
Another reason, yeah. So this is another one. We're talking about oak, and I figured that this would be an interesting continuation of that discussion. This is our 2012 Cabernet. I'm going to go back. Can I start again,
Please.
This is our 2012. You need the clapper.
Yeah.
Take two. 2012 Chardonnay Reserve. This was in barrels for about 14 months, just under the time the red was in. And so this is a blend of our boutique vineyard and our good friends from Oliveira Vineyard. Duarte Oliveira and his family have been growing grapes in Niagara for many, many years. They're absolutely fantastic grape growers. You're driving between Beamsville and Vineland. On the right-hand side, heading towards Niagara, the nicest, prettiest vineyard that you see on just off to the QW is Duarte's. Absolutely gorgeous. They do a beautiful job. Absolutely amazing Chardonnay that we've been getting for quite some years. And it's always been 50% of the blend of our Chardonnay Reserve is from the Oliveira Vineyard, and the balance comes from our boutique vineyard. And there's a great synergy there. We have that nervous energy from the boutique fruit, where you've got beautiful acidity, a little bit more linear fruit in the nose, not necessarily as opulent. And the grapes that are grown in Lincoln Lakeshore at Oliveira's, a little more opulent, a little richer, a little supple, more supple, a little soft, not as much acidity, but great depth. And so the two together come together to do our Chardonnay Reserve. And this will be bottled up in the next week and a half or so, I believe, is on our bottling schedule. And this should be out by the end of June. For I4C. Oh, we are pouring this for I4C. Apparently, we're pouring this for I4C. So the International Cool Climate Chardonnay celebration. Shout out to I4C. That'll be happening in July 20. Yeah, July 18th, I think it is.
For 3 days. There's nine countries, 57 winemakers, and 117 wines.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
You're on record now.
I'm on record now.
You are on record. If you're wrong, you're going to be lynched.
That's D. Hully at Vineland Estates Winery.
Oh, and his Twitter handle is?
Catch me if you can.
Yes.
Hashtag. There you go.
July 18th to 20th. Nicely done. Thank you, Andre. So yeah, this wine has just recently been filtered. It's cold stabilized and it's getting ready to go in the bottle. Beautiful lime zest on this nose is really quite amazing. Again, very minimal use of, again, no new oak whatsoever. This has just been aged in seasoned barrels, where we spend a lot of time stirring the lees that settle to the bottom of the barrels. We stir those lees back up into the wine during its élevage, during its aging period, and those lees release peptides into the wine and gives it this glycerol buttery texture to the wine. It's absolutely amazing. So you've got this beautiful acidity that catches you right in the tongue, and then this wonderful length that carries the weight of the wine.
The mastery of our reserve wine that I absolutely love is this more of an inspiration from Chablis as opposed to other reserve Chardonnays that can tend to be over oaked. Because a lot of people, when they see reserve Chardonnay, they'll run away saying, "Oh, I don't like oak wines." I love showing them this and saying, "Look, it's this has that beautiful richness, that fullness that Brian was talking about, and yet it's not brought to you by oak. It's brought to you by the wine and the yeast that made the wine."
And the choice of vineyards.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and the choice of vineyards. That plays a very important role. But this wine could never be this wine. It didn't have the Overbeer vineyard for sure. We've done some pretty amazing wine. The elevation chard that we do is a good example of just boutique, where you've got that sort of razor sharp crispness and a little more linear focused aromatics. This is a little broader, a little rounder, a little fuller.
Again, the fruit's not masked by oak, and that's where a lot of people don't like oak Chardonnays, because they're just getting this oaky flavor out of it, and they're not getting the fruit, they're not getting that luscious, what you use.
I'm not sure. I just make it up as I go. You're Dan, right? I think I don't remember.
I don't know. It's been a long day. You have to remind me.
Hey, we're tossing around a couple of other ideas. We're trying to find ways to get you guys out here and hang around with us a little bit more. And so we've thrown around the idea of once a month or so having just an informal barbecue on Friday afternoons. Yeah. Just kind of a kick around in the vineyard with us. Throw a couple of sausages on the barbecue. So if anybody's interested in doing that, send us a message. Let us know. We're probably going to let you know with about 2 or 3 days in advance on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. We'll send a message out to everybody, and probably the first 5 or 6 people that respond will be able to come and spend some time with us. You're going to get to hang out with Roman, and so we've loosely called it the takeoff on Tuesdays with Maury. Fridays with Roman and friends. So,
which means Brian will probably be there.
Yeah,
if you see him.
With the proviso that I'm not somewhere else, I'll be there. So Roman is a ton of fun. He loves barbecuing. He loves chatting. He loves talking about what he does and what he does best in the vineyard. He's an absolutely amazing raconteur, amazing storyteller. And so we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So that's something impromptu, something very fun that you'll be able to come out and hang out with us a little bit more. So if you guys have any ideas about how we can find ways to get to know you better, let us know. Send us a message. Send a message to Kat or to Melissa or Dave or Dan or me or Andre, anywhere. Send a smoke signal if you need to. Let us know, because we're always looking for ways to get to know you guys a little bit better. Come and visit us soon. The landscaping will be complete fairly soon. Right now it's about 4.5 feet of mud.
Yeah.
And that's not a pretty sight. These guys are having a tough time. They're working their asses off.
Well, they're doing a great job.
It'll be beautiful. So make sure you come in probably around the middle of June or so. We should be done. Make sure you come and spend some time and get to know the new Vineland Estates. I figure I've been calling it like a Botox injection.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
it's the same soul, the same place. We're just kind of shoving a little Botox in the front of it.
We are losing some wrinkles out
there.
It's beautiful. It's true. It really is.
So, yeah, you can tweet that one.
Yeah, we're kind of adding some more gardens.
Botox injection.
Botox.
So the next one that we have is Mystery Wine number 2, 2012 Cabernet Merlot Reserve. Again, sort of on the theme of wood and oak. Oftentimes we don't talk about that at Vineland because it's not really our focus. We don't spend a lot of time dwelling on how much oak our wine has. We're fairly well ingrained in bright, fresh, crisp, aromatic whites, and that's really our signature for the most part. And so we don't spend a lot of time talking about oak. So I figured we'd spend a little bit of time tonight and just get to know the wines that do spend time in barrel a little better. Again, about 16 months or so in seasoned oak, 2012 Cabernet Merlot. Oh, percentage. Oh, yes, of course. This is about 55% Cab Sauv and about 35% Cab Franc and 10% Merlot. Plus or minus, don't hold me to those numbers, but that's fairly close. I should have looked at that before I have too many. I have 21 vintages of numbers jumbled up in my brain, so I think that's fairly close to what it is. Again, no new oak, but this is all boutique. This is boutique on fire.
On fire. Yeah.
Absolutely, this is so amazing. The maturity in this wine right now at being just out of barrel is absolutely stunning. It's so well evolved and so well integrated, which is a characteristic of 2012. We're not going to be waiting a long time for these wines to open up and to enjoy them. They'll have a little bit of life. We're looking at 5 to 7 years, maybe 8 years. It was a really ripe vintage. pHs were high, acids were low. So those two things usually combine to minimize the ability to for the wine to age 15 or 20 years, something like that. And arguably, I don't think a lot of red wines do anyways. They'd have to be a whole lot bigger and more powerful. So this wine was sculpted with drinking in mind. And so I would say this is going to go into the bottle in the next 2 weeks or so, and I would say that drink it within probably about a month and a half of that after bottling and 5 to 7 years after that. But again, purity of fruit, absolute purity of fruit. The blackberry notes in this are stunning, absolutely stunning.
I remember this fruit coming in onto the crush pad as we were picking them.
Wow.
Up. And I knew it was my first vintage here, so my first vintage. So seeing the look on the energy that Brian had and the look on his face when these bins get opened up. I mean, he knew he'd been there earlier in the day seeing it, but just seeing it on the crush pad and how healthy this fruit was, I could see that we were in a good place and that I chose the right time. It was just like goosebumps. We all had goosebumps. It was like the hair was on the back of our neck. It was like it was exciting. And this is proof for us.
And you can see now that he's tasted, the hair on the back of his neck moved to the top of his head and is standing up.
At least he has hair on the top of his head.
That's true. That's true. That was another good shot.
Yeah, that was nice. So I think Dave has some important dates to tell you about.
Absolutely. Well, June the 7th is Bring Your Boots. I hope you have your spot because it is fully subscribed, but it's going to be a lot of fun out in the vineyard again. Again, just as Brian said many times, with what we say, there's no one generally more surprised than we are. What we say. So it's always a lot of fun.
Not so different from this. We usually have no idea what's going to happen until it happens. So.
That's true. That's true.
Impromptu sessions.
It's only because Andre can't get the teleprompters focused for us, and so we just go right off script. But that's good. And
June 7th, Bring Your Boots.
June 7th, Bring Your Boots. And then June 14th to the 22nd is New Vintage Niagara. We have a Passport, which is right here. Andre is going to be put a nice cheese together, didn't you, Andre? For the Passport?
2 nice cheeses.
2 nice cheeses. There you go.
Do I hear 3?
Got to come see. Bring your friend.
Bring your friend. And smile nice. And the other thing that we just determined as well, put it in your book, August the 12th.
Did we hit the date?
We did.
Did you speak to the dresser?
I did. And everybody involved, so Saturday, August 12th, right?
Saturday, August 12th.
Yes.
For sure.
For sure.
I'm putting it in my calendar right now.
Just make sure it is a Saturday, though, because I have all these dates running behind him. He's got percentages, I've got dates. What?
No, it would be the 10th or the 9th or the 16th.
It's the 16th. I knew it. Sorry, it is the 16th.
At some point in August,
yeah.
we will be having
It is the 16th, if that's a Saturday. it is the 16th, which that is correct, it is. We are having our summer barbecue.
You betcha.
And, which means pig on spit, vintage wines.
Vintage wines. This is going to be so much fun. This one we did
There we
think
go.
about. We have an amazing collection of vintage wines that we've opened up to you in the past through Vintage Month that we've done in February 2 years ago last year. So we have some more wines. So come join us for the barbecue. One size fits all. It's kind of I don't know, what do we charge for that? What's the
We haven't determined that.
we haven't determined that.
It's
It's going to be very reasonable.
It's very reasonable.
And,
Yeah,
and
way
so
more
you're
than before.
yeah, so you're going to get a bunch
Yeah.
of vintage wines. We're going to pull out some stunners from the cellar and have a ton of fun with that. So make sure you
Stunners
get
from
on-
the cellar.
stunners,
No, Stunners from the cellar. I like
stunners
that.
from the cellar. That's going to be the name of it.
Stunners from the cellar summer barbecue.
Absolutely perfect.
There you go.
That's the one.
If you ever wondered where that came from, just have
This is how it happens, guys.
it.
This is how it happens. So August 16th, put that in your calendar. I think, oh, that might have been May. Nope, that's August. Sorry, you're right.
Please.
August 16th. Yes. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add one thing about the bring your boots. We'll make sure this time, well, I'm not sure if you did it last year or not, but we'll make sure that the tractor is up here with the machine with Clemens on it, so we can show you how that's transitioning the vineyards and what it's actually doing. It'll be very interesting for everybody to see.
For sure. Hey, another quick fun thing that we're doing for the Connections Wine Club. We're probably running over time, aren't we? Are we good?
Gonna wrap it up.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay.
Either-
So we just Rick Van Sickle agreed to do Riesling Grape X squared,
Ah, really?
next generation Grape X 2.0. Rick is going to be chronologically following, chronicling. He's going to be writing about the Riesling vine. A Riesling vine. He's going to follow it throughout the growing season, and he's asked us to do a botrytis affected, almost partially or completely. Is that all right? Is it over? Almost partially botrytis affected, or if we can, depending on the vintage, fully botrytis affected Riesling that he is going to be inspired by him, and we're going to be talking a lot about that over the next little while. The guy's a Twitter magnet. I don't know if he's posted a bunch of things. He won 2 times in a row. So this is the second time awarded journalist. He got a what was it at the? I forget what it was now. Forget the first one. Sorry, Rick. And then just recently at the Ontario Wine Awards, also won an award for some writing that he's done. Anyways, the guy's awesome. He's a great friend. He's absolutely amazing. And so he's going to be doing that for us again. And that wine will be coming to you this time next year.
And the Rick's Riesling was one of those wines that sold out. What was it, Andre? 45 minutes? Or was it an hour? Something's tickling Andre over there. We're not sure what it is, but
What's going on?
The cat that's had on.
Oh,
nice.
Very nice. Thank you.
Well done.
Can everybody else see that?
Yarr!
Can they see that? How cool is
Well,
that?
actually, you should put a crown
But-
on Brian because
yeah.
one thing we have to mention
Yeah.
before we go.
Oh,
Yes.
last.
No,
That's it.
no. We gotta save.
Wrap it up.
Brian and
Wrap.
his team. That is the important part. Which is part of the team right here. Winemaker of the year for 2014 from the Ontario Wine Awards, and Brian, in the absolute purest way, and it is just Brian. I'm just the lucky guy standing up here receiving this award. There's a whole team back at home who I will take this to and present it to, and they are the winners.
They are the
So
winners,
there you are.
A great team. Now, let's get back to work.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Enough patting ourselves on the back. We got work to do.
What was that? 10 seconds? Gee.
We got our wine club to keep happening.
That's
We got
true, that's
lots
true.
of stuff to do. That's
Oh,
the
no.
best award. The best award, clearly, hands down for me, is getting to know our wine club members and making wines for you guys that you guys love. That is so much fun. That is the best award. Absolutely, hands down. So what am I want a hat. Oh, awesome.
You gotta. Where's the screech? Arr.
How cool is that? Alrighty.
All right.
So that's it. We're winding it up.
Yeah. Andre's
Yeah,
getting
probably
having way too much fun over there.
That's it.
If that's really what's going out,
No more tools for 100.
yeah.